Hey guys, so gonna come on, we're gonna do a little bit of UV resin playing. Oh, gross, I just got stuff all over me. Lovely. Good way to start. Hard day. That, we're gonna get that off of me. Get the trash can over here so that I can, have that. I got this white pigment on stuff, so okay. That's not on the inside, it's on the under, so we're fine. We're not even using that mold, so even more fine, right? More fine. Alright, so we are going to do a little bit of UV resin playing tonight. Basically want to make sure that I get y'all a tutorial. And my other tutorial that I was working on is not going quite as planned, so we are going to reroute, and that's just fine. Sometimes we got to do a little rerouting. So I'm using just a little bit of masking tape to clean out the two molds that I want to use. I also want to get this little guy. This is just a silicone little mat from Dollar Tree, and I am just gonna clean it off because we're gonna use it for some things. All right, also get our go ahead and get all UV lamp over near us so that we can have that ready to roll. All the things. Oops, well, that took enough juice that it turned off our light there. Let's hope that light stays on, but we might lose it again. We'll see. We shall see. All right. Oh, yep, we're gonna lose it because that is pulling too much energy from this. I'm gonna try to unplug one thing. We'll see if we can keep it. We'll see. See, just having all kinds of issues. Okay. So, the first little thing I want to do is I want to do these itty bitty ones right here. I just want to put a real thin layer in. And then I'm going to mix a couple different options over here. And I'm going to use silicone brushes because I want the to not scratch up my mat or my tool there. Alright, this mica has a thing on it, so I just use a little tweezers and we get that off. Not going to take much of this mica, a little bit more than that. Okay, that might have been a little much, but we're gonna make it work. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'm going to add this in, and I don't know if this is going to work, but it's going to be kind of an experiment. Okay. If you will, I'm just going to take this blue all the way up here, mixing it kind of in with our clear. Now I don't want to go to the very bottom here because I'm going to do something else down there. So basically just getting a good amount in here, and then we'll mix it in, make sure that we're up in our top part. Nice thing with them side by side, I can definitely see where I am and get them pretty even. So, and then I'll probably use this up in another mold. I've got a little bit more of the mica there. I'll just add that to a different mold in a minute. I think that's nice and sort of even. Okay, let's get paper towel. and wipe off our tip. Then I have, and I don't know if this is going to work. So this is definitely experimenting for sure. So the white is actually this epoxy resin pigment paste from Let's Resin. So I am going to try. It doesn't take much, and normally we would use this in our other resin, like when we're pouring, but I want to try it in UV resin, and I just want to see if it's gonna work or if it's not gonna work. So this is kind of experiment, you know. So it's not going to take very much at all. I probably even have too much in what resin we have here, but that's what we have to work with. So I'm going to put enough to create a line here. And then I am going to go ahead and mix up like a little bit with the sand stuff that I have, and then probably even put a little bit more clear over top so that this moves around some, because the idea around it is we want it to move. Now this is just a little like almost like salt, but it's not. It's a thicker glitter or sand mixture, and we don't need much to get it very kind of sandy. And yeah, it's a white beach. We're doing white sanded beach, and that's fine. I know it's not exactly sand-like, but this is what we're going with, just because I had this handy. Then we're going to need our heat gun. And I like how it's looking even without doing this, so that's good news, right? All right. Normally I don't do high, but for this I do want to do a little bit of high because I want that white to really move. Okay, see how I'm forcing that white into the blue. That's what I want. I want it to force itself into the blue and then kind of come back down and then go back up. And it's making it drift into the blue like a wave would. Now I probably only needed to do the low on that, but I really do kind of like how this has gone into the blue here and kind of done like a little swirling, and I'm just gonna help it even do that more so, just to give it a little unique look. And it obviously isn't going to be 100% like what a natural wave would be, but I'm just liking the look that it's giving us. So we're going to try that. Yeah, I think that's really cute. I'm going to move this out of our way so that hopefully I can use that on a different project that we try here. We're going to cure these and see what happens. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to end up turning our one light off to get this one to work. It's just going to be a give and take, clearly. I need to get another charging block over here. And I just don't have one. Coming off a vacation, I kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul kind of situation. So we'd have enough chargers in the works. That's not even going 60 seconds. Is it because this is in? Let's see. I'm like, what is happening? And it's just kind of dark over here. Even though I have like all my normal lights on, I feel like we're dark. What is happening? Is it this port? I might have to pause and go get a charging block. That would work, because That's not gonna work if we're gonna try to accomplish a few earrings. And the way this is working, I kind of would like to, you know, experiment a little bit more than just that. Like, I probably should do both top and bottom now that I'm thinking about it. So we'll cure this for the 18 more seconds, and then we'll put a clear coat on top just to finish filling our earrings. And then we'll attach the bottom and top just to give us a full cure, top and bottom. And I am going to attempt to turn on my flash on my phone. There we go. That makes it really hard for you guys to see because there is a glare. But look at these. They're looking so pretty. I love how they're looking. So hopefully, I don't love that the flash doesn't give you guys a great look. Let's zoom in and let's just roll with that. I think I'll make sure to get our light on here at the end to really showcase these for sure. Okay, so let's do a thin layer of clear on top just to seal all that in. And we'll use our silicone brush because it's pretty well cleared off. I'm just going around the edges just to make sure that we get a good layer around every part of it. I'll bring out our tray. This has our dual lamp. I absolutely love this bubba. I just got to make sure it connects. Oops. Did it that way so that I could do it this way, and then I messed it up. Okay. Why aren't we coming on? Might I question? There we go. Alright, so this is going to cure it from not only the top, but it's going to also pull the light from the bottom row here and push that light up from the bottom, which is what we want. So we can ensure where we're adding color like this, we want to ensure that we get a full cure all the way through. Color is hard for the light to go through. So when we do color, it's difficult because it needs, essentially what needs to happen is it needs to be able, the light needs to be able to go through the UV resin so that it can cure the UV resin. So when we add color, we're disrupting that clearness, not allowing the light to actually go through that resin. So super important when you're working with UV resin. You can't add too much color because of that reason. That's why this is a little bit of an experiment. Now, I do have some ice water here because when we pull these out, what I want to do is go ahead and pop them in some ice water because they're probably going to be a little tacky just from the heat. They're a little bendy as well. So I'm going to drop these in to that ice water. Nothing fancy, just some ice and some water. Now we got to fish those out. They're sunk all the way to the bottom. And I don't really want to dip my fingers all the way to the bottom to get said. You know what, those tweezers are going to be too hard because they're like closed up on themselves. Okay. Ooh, oh, these are beautiful. Now, let's see though, because I just ended up with white somewhere. So did it not cure? Did white come out? Or was it just residue? Okay. I think it's okay. Oh, those are so cute. Where's our other one? It's like fishing here. Fishing for our earring. They don't need a ton of cleanup. We did end up with a bubble down here, a couple on our edges, but really, I don't think if we don't, and same thing on this one, that's hilarious. If we don't edge them with anything, you're not going to notice those little minor detail. Those are really pretty. So let's try another version, right? Because why not? Why not? Okay, let's try this one. I think that would be, actually, you know what? I want to do this one. A little awkward because they're kind of opposite of each other, but that's okay. Well, I'll mark my finger here so that I make sure that I do the right one, because I could see myself like going to the wrong one after we did. So that I did a little bit more in than I had previously. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back over. I'm going to try to get this in first down here. I'm just kind of mixing that in. Yeah, we got some bubbles, but you know, the ocean technically has bubbles, so you know, you get kind of foamy. I want to get to the ocean so bad. I just don't know when it's gonna happen this year. School is like, the other moms and parents just feel like, you know, it just comes up too quick and we're racing to get school supplies. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I haven't even started school shopping, you know. Luckily, one kid is all online, so that's pretty easy. But the other one is not online. And so I need to get the list of school things. And, oh, that definitely had dry mica on it because it just sprayed everywhere. I'm going to try to put enough in there. But I want to do a smidge different color. I want to go with this grape color. Why? Not really for certain. It's just calling me. Mixing it with that blue, I think it's just gonna be really pretty. I know that's less oceany, but it's okay. Oh, wow. That is a really pretty combination, actually. Let's get back to our other end because the other end is easier. But yeah, I was like thinking about it today and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even looked at the supply list that we need. I need to schedule for a physical. I need to schedule to get her immunization records, which I can do at the physical, of course. But I'm just like, okay, yep. One of them parents who leaves it to the last minute. That's okay, but kind of panicking internally. And this year's the beach, so I think it's going to be on fall break. And my daughter's like, I don't want to go on fall break. It's going to be cold. I'm like, it will not be that cold. You're going to get in anyway. Like, she will get in. Nothing's going to keep her out. Alright, so I'm drawing, you know, this white line, essentially. I'm going to do a little bit of mixing right there, just to get it in there, but also trying to really make sure that I end up with a line. Which is a little difficult, if you ask me. Okay, let's try it on low. This one will be a little interesting because we have to do them individually for sure. Look at it, how it's waving like that. You have to be careful to not end up over on the other side. So I'm kind of doing a back and forth, wanting that white to really get up there. I'm just kind of judging where it is to see what else needs to be done. And then, like the other one, I'm just going to do, you know, some little wisps. Because it's really not oceany, it's more just a beautiful design that we're accomplishing with it. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but kind of giving it a similar, you know, kind of look that we can. So I'm going to do a little bit of this blue down here in our sandy area too. Just, it's not much, but just, you know, kind of swirl that in there. It doesn't need to be much. Just giving it a little bit different definitions as well as we're doing that. Okay, so now let's cure that up. Let's move this out of the way again, just so that we have it out of the way. Not doing very good. Let's keep that on there. Let's see. Make sure that we have our cord all the way. Sometimes it takes unplugging it and plugging it back in. I don't know why. It just does. So I'm going to do 60 seconds with top and bottom. Then we're going to put a very thin layer of clear on top. Drop those in the ice. And then we'll do another set. I'm liking this. I think it's really fun to be able to do something a smidge different than I normally do. And I really like them. I really like the look that it's giving. And that's really cool that we can do that. We can get kind of, it's not going to give the same effect as it would if we were adding it to the one-to-one resin that I normally use. We'll do an ocean theme somewhat soonish probably, and we'll see what we kind of come up with. I've got a few ideas percolating, let's just say. They're not fully developed yet, so I don't want to proceed until I have them, you know, fully ready, shall we say. Okay, so I'm going to just go right here so that I can add this thin layer on top, possibly. Come on, big old bubble there. We'll get it out for sure. A few small ones. That one ended up with a little bit more air than I would have liked. So we'll hit this with a little lighter just to pop those bubbles on the surface. Get those popped. With this, you don't want to be too close because you don't want to catch your resin on fire. And to top it off, you don't want to melt your mold because that's no fun. This is a little inconvenient, but we're going to unplug and plug back in. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. I am excited. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love when something in my head comes out the way I want it, because like I said, I was working on another series and I had 2 episodes done and I'm not loving it. I'm gonna tell you, not loving it. So it's like, you know what, we're just gonna take the pressure off and we're gonna start anew, and that's fine. Let's just start afresh. No need to have that pressure. It's all good. Sometimes we gotta regroup. We'll see what happens. So this will be a two-parter. We're gonna do the resin here tonight. We'll let these fully set up and then we'll make them into earrings on the next episode. Okay, so these are pretty warm, which that's why I'm doing the ice water technique. When we pop them out, we're just gonna pop them right into the ice water. They're a little tacky, a little bendy. So when I drop them in, I want to make sure that they are kind of level the way you want them. Essentially, let them mix in there for just un momento. And then we can recover them. And see, now that is absolutely solid. It's not going anywhere. And that's why I say you want them to be sort of flat. If they come out curled, they're going to stay curled. That's just the way they are. Oops, I tried to get the ice cube. These are really pretty too. And that hardens it right on up. So even like the little pieces that are on the side that I can usually just pop right off are pretty well stuck. This one's a little bit curled, but again, unless you're an expert resiner, I don't think anybody's gonna notice. And they came out so pretty. Little different. One, we got shape difference, obviously. But two, we got a little bit different color, and we did a little more swirling up in here. So I'm liking that. Okay. So we'll let those finish curing fully. Oops, I almost knocked my water everywhere, but we didn't. We saved it. It's so good. Okay, so I want to try a little something, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna fully do it, but I want to do an earring that has some of this like splatter from, it's just like a real thin paper that's got these speckles on it, and I want to do that in an earring. I think it would look really, really pretty. Problem that I'm running into is, how do we accurately cut that out without ruining our mold or without messing up, you know. I'm afraid if I poke that through and I stab my mold, that actually might have did what I needed it to do. It's enough of a border that I can see it, and I can, I about took off the top of it with my scissors, but we're cruising. It may not be exact, but it's gonna be pretty darn close. Let's just see how close we got with it. Yeah, we got pretty close. Granted, I think I'll just take the top off so that I'm not dealing with trying to go around that, you know, and it's gonna sit in there. Okay, we're gonna try it. We're gonna need to put a real thin layer. I was gonna say Mod Podge because, you know, when we're working with papers, I'm a lot of times working with Mod Podge, but we're gonna put a real thin layer of our resin in here. Pop that bubble or two that I see. It never comes on the first try, but then it did. Okay, and then put that in with our silicone tool and push out any bubbles that are trying to go under it, and just fully coat it. I don't know if it's going to give us the what do want to say the speckles like I wanted it to. It's kind of, let's just do the one and not get ourselves too involved if that doesn't work, kind of thing. I just don't want to spend a ton of time on it if it doesn't work. And the paper is trying to poke up above the mold, so I'm just going to push it back down while it's curing. And truthfully, it doesn't need long because it's already pretty solid for what we need. So, get this out of our way. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely popped itself up, so this will be interesting. Let's keep going. Oh, I thought I turned that off, but apparently I didn't. It's okay. I got some big of bubbles, big balls. Yeah, I don't like how this one is looking. You know, I don't like it. This might be in one of the reject files. Like, did not like how that one turned out. We're gonna go a different route. And that's okay. It's all good. Sometimes, this is why we experiment. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you wanted it to. Let me see if it's even, oh yeah, it's hard enough. So we'll take it out and just drop it in. It definitely didn't do the look that I wanted, and it's got all kinds of bubbles. It just is not it. Okay. Let's turn that baby off. Let's move my scissors out of the way. All right. So I want to give us, I think, 3 earrings to work with, and so I'm going to do this shape here, just so that we have 3 to put together, essentially. Okay, so I'm going to bring back our little mat because we have a little bit of extra color, a little bit of extra white, which we could mix a little extra white in, and we're going to do one other color too. I'm going to try to do this as a real thin layer again, kind of like we did on the first one, but also making sure it spreads fully around. Okay, let's give us a little extra to work with there so that we can do, let's do this plum color. I think that would look really pretty with the blues that we have going. Or the purples that we have going. I hope that wasn't too much. Might have been too much. Might have to add a little. Well, we're going to be mixing it into here. I'm basically going halfway up. I don't really love this end for this part of it, but I like this end for bringing the mica over onto our resin because these are flipped. I had to think backwards. I was like, did I do that right? I was like, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I did. So I'm basically just trying to clean all that up as much as I can. I believe that my rubbing alcohol system will clean that right off the mat. Doesn't look very clean right now, but I think it'll be fine. And then we're gonna add our purpley blue line, you know, just going across here. Trying to get it pretty even-ish, you know, like not perfect, but not full on terrible here. Just adding a little bit of white we do have to these. And then we'll add a little heat to them. Blow that around. It's hard to get in there to get the light moving. Let's see if I can get this one moving. Oh yeah. Our white in that one is just not wanting to disperse. Maybe just not much. But there we go. You get it enough. You do have to be careful with your heat gun to not like burn the resin as well. You know, same thing that we always discuss. I lost my tool. So this one created a big old bubble pocket down here. And I want this to kind of come back. So I'm gonna do a thing where I try to bring this resin kind of back in to the space. So just kind of doing a little swirly here. We're gonna need a little bit more resin to make this one not have a gap down here, because it's definitely like not enough, essentially. And it's wanting to pull it away. So that one got very mixed, I would say. So I'm gonna try to mix this one just a little bit more to match what's going on over on this one. Just to give us similarity, but uniqueness, because, you know, it's gonna have uniqueness. Okay, kind of like it. So with that, we're gonna cure this up. Just a little something different. See how that does. I think we got a spot still in the one that the mold is trying to resist the resin on there. So we'll have to fill that in pretty good. Not a problem, just need to work with it. So with this, what I would do, probably put gloves on if you're gonna be, you know, super careful about that. I'm just gonna put a little rubbing alcohol onto a paper towel and just basically wipe it off. I'm gonna not do it on top of that, but look how that's just coming right off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. It just pulls right up off of the silicone mat. And now, truthfully, my mat's cleaner than it was when we started, which is nice. And so it's ready for the next project, which is cool. Rubbing alcohol will also just air dry right on off of your silicone, so there's no need to really dry it. Now I got a little bit of residue over here that I should try to get cleaned up in a minute, but let's work on finishing these first. All right. Looks pretty good. I am going to go ahead, fill this pretty much in. I do want to add something though to this to give it just a little bit more definition. So, I know I just cleaned our mat, but I'm going to use it again for just a little bit more. And I want to do kind of a gold. This is, well, that's a mint. I don't know if I really want mint. I want more, oh, I want champagne. Yeah, champagne is what I want. You know, sometimes you just have to look and you're like, no, that's what I want. So what I want to do with this champagne is just some little swirls. Again, this is not being, there's no science to it, okay? So, it's just adding the little swirls into the resin. If you pick up a little bit on the tip of your brush, and because we have resin in there, it's gonna attract to one another. So it's wanting to have the resin come be a part of the bigger clear resin, essentially. And you can control how thick or thin you do your little strips based on how much you bring up on your brush. So just kind of a unique way of adding a little something more to these, because ultimately they were fine, but I just wanted something to kind of elevate them a smidge more in them, basically. I just wanted to give them a little bit extra something, and this is what it needed. They were just looking a little plain, and I am going to go ahead and really just very lightly do this little swirling, because I think it gives it that look it needs to be more matchy. There. Yeah, I like those. And it's going to give it some definition because we've got another layer of color. So it's going to give you some depth. When you do layers like that, it's definitely going to give you some depth, which is always nice. So those two are very similar. This is going to be completely different, and that is fine. That's how you do experiments in resin. No two pieces are ever going to be alike. It just doesn't happen, because even though we are making a set of earrings, which is two pieces, those two pieces are not going to match 100%, because you can't predict exactly how the resin is going to react in each piece of the earring. So we get them similar, and truthfully, if somebody's looking that closely that they're not identical, they don't understand art. Art is unique. So, all right, got that cleaned off. Much better. Now we just wait for our thing to be done. I might need another thin layer on there, so I'll wait to put our resin away. Let's see. Yeah, let's put one more thin layer because it's a little bit indented, and I want that to not be the case. Especially this one. I keep bumping my leveling tray, and it's being tippy. Tippy tip tip. Alright. So it was a little more lacking than that one. Yes, I see you, Bubble. We're gonna pop ya. Whoops. Okay, that fell to the ground. Look at that ornamento. Try to put together my mica's back there. This is what I was gonna grab. was like, I was gonna grab something and I don't know what it was. There we go. All right, let's put this back in here. Why I'm having to unplug and plug back in, I don't know, but we are rolling with it. Grab this tool that fell while that is curing, because this tool needs a little cleaning. Oh, I just bumped my headset on the table. It wasn't my head, it was the headset. So this tool is a mess, but again, nothing a little bit of rubbing alcohol can't cure. And just wipe off both ends with that. I have to be careful with these. The rubber does like to come out of them if you're pulling on them too hard. So just gentle spinning that around and good as new, which is wonderful because then we can get to reuse it. All right, we're gonna pop these in our ice water just in a couple of seconds and then see how they turned out. Look at these. I do like that rose gold. There's just a shimmer of the blue from underneath, which is really pretty. This one was definitely bendy coming out, so I went ahead and kind of tried to flatten it. Same thing with this one. We're still very bendy. It's partly because it's hot. So UV resin, when it's curing, gets pretty warm under that UV light. And so, hence, partly the reason why we do the cold bath is that is going to help solidify that. And that's really important. So, okay. I'm so excited. These are not the tweezers I want. I put away the ones that I want. This guy went up on the side. Huh. There we go. Oh yeah. My goodness, it's so solid. It's insane. Like I can't even begin to bend it now that it's been in there. Now, if they didn't turn out exactly flat, like maybe you want them to be, you can pop them back under the UV light and flatten those. Now, their holes did get filled in. You could do one of two things. If you have tweezers like this, just poking that through is going to get that probably cleared out pretty easily. If this got too filled in, we could always take the drill bit and just drill that hole right on out. But right now, while they're here, the tweezers are definitely workable to make those pop out really easily. So that gives us our holes for when we add the jewelry to it, the jewelry accessory. That one looks like it's still full, but I'm definitely, okay, there we go. I just had to come at it from the other angle for it to actually show that it was cleared. It was like it got all goobered up right here at the front. So when I went from the other direction, it cleared it. Okay, let me do this light and let's bring these up. Now we got some fingerprints on them, probably because I didn't have gloves on. So, you know, that's part of it. Ooh, those are pretty. Okay, let's let the camera get in focus, but look at these. Look how pretty that is. Honestly, I think if we did a thin layer of black on the back of them, it would make these pop even more on these ones. I kind of think that's what I'll do in the next episode. I'll do that, and I'll do like a real thin layer of clear on the front on all of them to get rid of the fingerprints that I added. Look at these. So, you'll have to tell me which ones are your favorite. I think the blues are my favorite. I just really love how those blues worked out. I think this first pair is my fave. This is not far behind. And then this would be my third. I think it's pretty. It's not maybe my best work. Is how I think of that. So we'll let these sit here for a good 12 to 24 hours at least. My life, we know it will probably be more like a week. And that's fine. We'll just let them do their thing, let them rest, and we'll come back and do some cleanup on them. Probably put black on the back, a layer of clear on the front, and turn them into earrings. Alright, we'll see you guys soon. Bye.